Hi, my name is Taya and I'm here to teach you all about art history. In today's video, we will be discussing the life of the Baroque master Artemisia Gentileschi. Inspired by the work of Caravaggio, Gentileschi was a pioneer of female art, achieving what very few women did at their time. Let's get straight into it. Artemisia Lomi Gentileschi was born in July 1593, though her birth certificate indicates she was born in 1590. She was born the eldest of Prudenza and the Tuscan painter Orazio Gentileschi. After her father arrived in Rome, his work began taking inspiration from Caravaggio and reached its peak. He did not idealize or sweeten his models, he transformed them into figures of powerful and realistic drama. In 1605, Artemisia's mother died, so she was primarily raised by her father, and it's likely around this time she began her painting journey by being introduced to her father's workshop. Unlike her brothers, Artemisia showed a lot of enthusiasm and talent for painting. She learnt to draw, mix colour, and to paint. By age 18, she was known for her artistic skill, and her father boasted that she was peerless after only 3 years of training. During this time, Artemisia was predominantly inspired by her father's work, though she approached her subject matter differently. Rather than an idealized form, Artemisia took a naturalistic approach. She began gaining great respect and recognition for her work. Her earliest surviving work is Susanna and the Elders, which she completed at the age of 17 and depicts the story of Susanna. A trigger warning: please note that this section of the video involves details of torture, rape, and sexual abuse. If you wish to skip, I'll put the timestamp on the screen now. In 1611, Orazio was working with Agostino Tazzi to decorate some vaults. In May, when alone with Artemisia in the Gentileschi household, Tazzi raped her. Another man also played a part in her rape, and a friend of Gentileschi was also present but refused to help her. Artemisia began involving in a sexual relationship with Tazzi, as she believed they would marry in order to restore her virtue. However, he reneged on his promise of marriage. Orazio pressed charges against Tazzi 9 months later when he learnt of the event. Unfortunately, the charges were pressed for violating the family's honour, not for the sexual harassment. The trial continued for 7 months, and it was discovered that Tazzi planned to murder his wife, engaged in adultery, and planned to steal Orazio's paintings. As a result, Tazzi was exiled from Rome, though this was never actually carried out. To verify her testimony, Artemisia was tortured during the trial. Once the trial was over, Orazio arranged for Artemisia to marry a modest artist from Florence, where they would move to after their wedding. During her time in Florence, she became a successful court painter and enjoyed the patronage of the House of Medici. Her career was highly successful in Florence, where she was accepted as the first female student at the Academy of the Arts in Drawing. She was friends with artistic peers and gained the favour of influential people, including the Grand Duchess Christina of Lorraine. This provided access to patrons, widened her education, and exposure to the arts. She began learning to read and write and began enjoying theatrical and musical performances. She gained the attention of Michelangelo in 1615, and he asked her, alongside other Florentine artists, to contribute to painting the ceiling of the Casa Buonarroti. Each artist was given the opportunity to present an allegory of virtue associated with Michelangelo. Heavily pregnant at the time, Artemisia was assigned the allegory of inclination. The artist was paid 3 times more than the other participating artists. Many believe the subject resembles Artemisia, as with many of her other heroines. During this period, she also painted The Conversation of the Magdalene, Self-Portrait as a Lute Player, and Judith and Her Maidservant. In Florence, Artemisia and her husband had 5 children, though only 2 survived longer than a year. Another died at the age of 5. Only her daughter Prudenta survived to adulthood and became a painter, though nothing is known of her works. In 2011, it was discovered from a collection of 36 letters that Artemisia had an affair with a wealthy Florentine nobleman named Francesco. Her husband was aware of the relationship and even wrote to the lover on the back of her love letters, as he provided the couple with financial support. Once rumours of the affair raised in Florentine in 1620, the couple relocated to Rome. This period saw an upheaval in Artemisia's life. Her son died at the age of 5, her father left for Genoa, contact with her lover lessened, and any mention of her husband disappeared by 1623. Despite this, the move granted the opportunity to cooperate with other painters and seek patronage. It is noted by historians that her career took off quickly, and any money problems she may have faced eased. The variety of patrons in Rome allowed for a variety of styles. Many would follow Caravaggio's style. Some followed the Bent Vogel's group of Flemish and Dutch painters. The Bolognese school also grew to popularity at this point. The late 1620s was a heavily undocumented time in Artemisia's life. However, it is believed she moved to Venice. This may have been in search of richer commissions, but it is unclear. In 1630, Artemisia moved to Naples in search of better job opportunities. Many other influential artists of the time would spend time in Naples. Artemisia lived in Naples for the remainder of her career. She began working on paintings in a cathedral for the first time. She also painted the birth of St. John the Baptist. She began expanding her subjects, steering away from Judas, Susanna, Bethesda, and others that she was known for. Many paintings created during this time were also collaborations. She joined her father in 1638, who became a court painter in London, where she received a job decorating a ceiling allegory of triumph of peace and the arts for Queen Henrietta Maria in the Queen's house. Despite working for her father, this was not her sole reason for travelling to London. She was actually invited to the court by Charles I. The king was an enthusiastic collector and faced a lot of criticism for the money he spent on art. In his collection was actually the self-portrait as the allegory of painting. Her father Orazio died in 1639, and despite commissions to fulfill during this period, there are no works attributed to Artemisia at the time. By 1642, when the English Civil War was beginning, Artemisia is known to have left England, though little is known about her subsequent movements. We do know she was in Naples around 1649 due to correspondence with Con Antonio Ruffo, her mentor at the time. Her last known works appear to be commissions and were more traditional representations of the feminine. We don't know the exact year in which Artemisia died. It was once believed she died around 1652 or 53, but evidence shows she was still accepting commissions in 1654, though she utilized an assistant by this point. It's now speculated she died during the plague epidemic that swept through Naples in 1656, a period that wiped out an entire generation of Neapolitan artists. Some other exceptional female artists of the time include Sofonisba Anguissola, Feda Galizia, Elisabetta Serrani, Clara Peters, Katerina van Hemessen, Lavinia Fontana, Judith Leister, and Mary Beale. Thank you so much for watching today's lecture. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos just like this.